Today I'm finally gonna talk about my breast reduction surgery and why I had done it. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am finally recording this video after filming it twice on my camera, turning it into slow motion clips. So I've got my phone here to make sure that the camera is working properly. Also, excuse the mess, I've literally just moved in here, and for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram or only know me through YouTube, a lot in my life has changed lately, and I'll be bringing all of the updates onto this channel, so please make sure to subscribe and turn the bell. Why did I get a breast reduction surgery? I've had this question asked so many times, and it's been a year since I had the surgery and since the vlogs came out, and I haven't since then addressed it or really spoken about why exactly I had done it. There's a couple of reasons, and I want to be really honest and really transparent, and hopefully my experience can help those of you that want to do the same surgery, or if you are considering it, or if you are looking to do anything else, because the journey itself and the surgery, no matter what surgery you do, can be quite hard on your body, especially if it has to do with your looks. It can be really difficult mentally, which it was for me. If you guys had seen the vlogs in the series, they were a lot. I still haven't looked back because they were heavy and they were really emotional, and I was in a really bad dark place. Looking back, I really don't know how I had not only filmed it but also sat through and edited it and shared it with the world. It's probably one of the most vulnerable things I've ever done. Obviously, I'm going to talk about how I feel now, what has changed, and how life is compared to before in future videos. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this video. So the first and main reason is and was my health, and my mom was concerned about this a lot more than I really was, because compared to a lot of people, I struggle with a lot less back issues, so it's not something that I was really that concerned about, but my mom was. It was going to affect my posture, my health, and if I were to have a child, like it would just be very difficult. So she planted the seed in my head, and then for the long time I was like, yeah, you know what, like she's right. And then the year that I had done the surgery, which was last year, about halfway through April, I started surfing and I started getting really bad back pain, especially like in my right shoulder. So there was a point where I was paddling just with one arm because I didn't really have much mobility on it. It was really painful. I wasn't able to do anything else that I wanted to, like lift and box, and it just felt like this arm and my lats were like really tight and they were really struggling. I'm not really sure if it was related again to my boobs, but of course they contributed, because I had a really tough time like sitting up straight. I still have to work on my posture because I'm so used to, one, trying to like hide the boobs and make them less obvious by like slouching my back, and then also because it was so heavy all the time, I was just so used to sitting like this. Then when I went for my first consultation with one of the doctors, because I seen a few before I did the surgery, he was shocked that I hadn't done it yet. He said that he has no idea how I'd lived the last like 3 or 4 years with my boobs being that big, and that's actually when I realized that I had a very active lifestyle compared to a lot of people with such big boobs. It didn't really stop me from doing anything because I was so tired of like limiting myself. Just because my boobs are big doesn't mean I can't run. Like, I'm not gonna put myself in a box or limit myself from doing things just because I have big boobs. So I did Muay Thai, and I did, yeah, like I said, HIIT classes and running. I was very, very active. I wore bikinis that would show my boobs. Like, I was quite confident with my body compared to a lot of people that he had seen, because he said most people that come to him just want to get rid of them because they feel like it's a burden, and I never looked at it as a burden, but a lot of people really do, because of how many issues it causes, whether that's with like confidence or with, you know, the amount of stuff they're able to do or the stuff they're able to wear. I just always found ways around it, and I just got so used to it. So when he was questioning my lifestyle, I just thought like, why is he making it sound so bad? Like, it's not even that bad. The more we spoke, the more I'd realized that, you know, like moving to Bali had really changed the way I viewed my body, and I viewed myself, and I viewed my abilities, and I think that's why I was able to like push myself forward. I didn't want to limit myself, which at times just like wasn't the healthy choice. But anyways, he was shocked, he didn't understand it, and when I told him the size that I wanted, which was a double D or like a D, he was like, what? I never had anyone come in for a breast reduction and not want to like go to a cup A or maybe a cup B. And even before the surgery, I was like, do I really want to get rid of them? Because a lot of people had made me feel as if it was a gift and it was this amazing thing, and so many people knew me for my boobs. So many girls had come up to me, said they wish they had my boobs, which now looking back, I just think it's crazy that people had even said that. I don't think I knew how big my boobs actually were up until now, when I look back and I see the difference and I see videos of myself training on the beach, and I'm like, wow, how did you do that? Like, how? Yeah, I don't know why anyone would say that. But that leads me probably to the second point of why I wanted to do this. The amount of attention I would get from just women staring or women coming to grab them. I'm like, oh my god, I wish I had your boobs, and just place your hands on them, or like asking me if they can touch them. Having that done about a part of your body when you're still growing and you're still not really comfortable with who you are as a person, still not really comfortable with your looks. And I had an eating disorder, and I had a really rapid weight gain, and I had a lot of body dysmorphia issues, and I had a lot of confidence issues. So that for a long period of time had made me feel like I couldn't get a breast reduction, because it was like, well, but this is everything that people like know me for. This is everything that people remember me for. Like, Amina,
oh yeah, the girl with big boobs.
Like, that's for a long time was all that I thought people notice about me. I would notice on nights out, people would always notice my boobs first, and that's exactly where their eyes would look. And I think as a woman in general, you feel so much like not like a target, but you feel sexualized anyway. And then I had big boobs, and even my friends, my guy friends and my girlfriends would kind of be on that train. So it was a really weird, it was just weird. There was so many times where I wished people would notice something else about me, and then inevitably in my head, because that was like, to a certain degree, was an insecurity, I would always think like, oh, maybe he's just talking to me because he likes big boobs, or maybe they just want me to model because I have big boob. I always had that in my mind. It was just like that thing. So a part of me wanted to get rid of it, so people would see me for something else, and people would stop noticing that. And when people would see me, they would just see me for me. Obviously they would still see my body, and they would still see how I look like, but like my boobs were so big that it wasn't like, oh, she has big boobs. Like, I had massive boobs, and I didn't want to live a different life, so I wore triangle bikinis, and I wore bikinis, and I had my boobs out because I didn't want to, like I said, put myself into that box and not be able to do things. Yeah, with big boobs, like even wearing oversized things and wearing hoodies and stuff like that, like people can still see it. And you live on an island and everyone wears bikinis. I would admire the girls that just ride around in bikinis so much, because that's what I wanted to do for the longest time. And every time I would do anything like that, I would just get so many stares. And yeah, it gets uncomfortable to a degree, and you feel really sexualized for a body part, and it becomes your self-worth in a way. Yeah, people would be like, well, like, you can wear more things and you can hide them, but it's like, but I'm here to live, and I live only once, so why would I hide a part of myself? So I was always on the edge between of like, am I uncomfortable by the stairs, so should I hide them more, or do I just want to be myself and live a regular life and like just try to ignore the comments and the looks? And I used to get a lot of looks from older men as well. Like, my mom had caught way older men staring at me before. She had to yell at them in their face, and at that point I'd already dealt with it so much that I just found it funny that was the first time my mom had really been with me when that had happened, and my mom was just so blown away by it. But I was so used to it at that point, so I didn't even have a reaction to it. I guess a reason that then adds on top of that, what I said, is wearing certain clothes. Like, it would be very hard for me to shop online, or even find tops that would like hide my bra straps or hide my boobs, or find bikinis that are big enough and supportive enough, find sport bras. Having to wear so many sport bras at once. I used to wear like 3 or 4 sport bras while training. Adjusting my lifestyle and what I wear, adjusting what I wear to my lifestyle was difficult. So part of me was really excited to be like a regular, more common cup, to be able to get bras and lingerie and clothes and bodysuits, and a lot of things come in sets, and yeah, the top and bottom obviously in different sizes, so it was really difficult to kind of make that fit. Before the surgery, I remember thinking like, oh, I just can't wait to buy like regular tops, like go online and just buy tops. But then when I did, I realized I would automatically not look at certain things because I knew they just wouldn't fit me. Oh, I can't, like this, no, can't wear a bra with this is too low of a cut. And then I had to like tell myself like, no, you can now. So yeah. Another reason was my lifestyle. I'm super active and I wanted to keep doing all these things and I keep wanting to train. I would have had to choose one or the other eventually, and I didn't want to get to that point where I wasn't able to move. I really got into just challenging my mind and body with everything that I do, so I started trying out lots of new things, and there was a lot of things that I just couldn't try or they would be extremely uncomfortable. Like even running, that was nearly impossible, and now I can freely run. One of the reasons was also modeling. That was in the back of my mind. I thought that I had an unproportional body. My hips were not as big as someone with that big of a bust would have, so I thought that I would potentially get more modeling jobs once I got rid of my boobs, because not a lot of curvy people or curvy models have such big boobs. Like not a lot of people have such big boobs in general, and so for me it was harder to get modeling jobs, because if a company was becoming more inclusive, they would more likely to aim for someone who was a bit more proportional and a bit more common, because that appeals to their audience more and that could target more people. Whereas with me, a lot of times they would use me, and I worked with amazing beautiful brands that I'm so grateful for, but I understand as a consumer who doesn't have big boobs but who is curvy, I much rather see someone who's more like me, and there's not a lot of people like me with my measurements. So I could see how for brands who have a smaller budget and who are just growing and just becoming inclusive, it would make more sense to find someone that's kind of in the middle. And I guess maybe that is not as inclusive, but working with enough brands, I understand how it works and how much of a budget it takes to like truly become inclusive, especially if you are a sustainable brand. So yeah, part of me thought like, you know what, I will fit the norm more now, which I at the time thought was a good thing. A lot of this has changed. Like this is, I'm telling you the reasons of that I thought of back then, like what was going through my head. I hadn't really thought that it would affect how I feel about myself. Like I knew the aesthetic would change, but I don't know, I didn't know the ways that it would affect me. And if you had seen my vlogs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I cried a lot getting through that period of time, and it was actually really difficult. I really want to like go back. I really want to go back and hug myself, because that was really sad and I was having a really difficult time. And I had seen so many videos of surgeries like this. I did my research, you know, I had to look up all these things and stuff, and nothing could have prepared me for what I went through. I really wish at the time I had a therapist, because I think that was probably the worst I've ever been mentally. Not only because of the surgery, but because of the ways my family had made me feel, the ways I took blame for the way that the surgery has gone, and my choice of the doctor. It was a lot of self-blame and regret. She was really upset, and there's some things I still struggle with and some things I'm still dealing with, and I will speak about that more, and I will speak about the recovery and the mental aspect of everything. But in terms of reasons, that is all. And if you're thinking about getting a surgery like this, I definitely don't recommend watching my vlogs, because I was very emotional at the time and I was a mess. And I'm saying that in a good way, you know, in a compassionate way, but that could scare someone off. It was intense. It was very, very intense. I didn't think I needed any mental preparation, and in reality, I really should have had some. Yeah, my expectations were just completely different, but that was also because I, to be quite fair, got unlucky with the doctor, unlucky with the surgery process, unlucky with the healing process, but that's also okay. It's just something that I had to accept. It could happen to anyone. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, this was one hell of a journey in terms of like, yeah, body acceptance. It's definitely highlighted a lot of insecurities that I thought I've dealt with, but I didn't, and it was, yeah, it was a lot of work. So I'm glad we're here now, and I hope this video helped you guys and was insightful, answered the questions you might have had. I'd used some of the questions that I got on Instagram for this video, and if you have any more, pop them in the comments or send them on Instagram and I'll add them in the next video, because this will be a series kind of really in-depth talking about this whole journey. But yeah, I am actually in my new house in London that I moved into 2 days ago, and life has been absolutely crazy. So much has happened and I just can't wait to keep sharing it with you guys. If you want to be more updated with what goes on, Instagram is where I'm a lot more present on a daily basis. You can always chat to me and we can be friends. Yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you guys in the next video.
I never pick up the phone, the pocket dialing.